We sages, like Vaishwamitra, praise Agni in this yajna ritual. We seek that the fire god Agni come to us in our ritual. To aid us in this ritual, may the fire god Agni bring forth other deities. The sages have gathered to perform this grand ritual with the precision of time. Hotas, priests, sages, present offering in the yajna. We seek Agni for this yajna performed for gods. Agni shall decorate it with gems, ratna. The slok from Rigveda 1.1.1, the first slok, sung by Vaishwamitra, praises Agni to grant them the wish of successful yajna. We can gather that to appease the elemental gods, the rishis are presenting them with the offering. As humans, rishis have thought that singing the praises and meditating on the god Agni, giving Agni the offering, is the greatest form of veneration that they can do. While they believe that when they do so, Agni will surely listen and grant them with gems. Gems in this context could be knowledge and wisdom that the sages seek. In regards to the idea of ritual being conducted with the precision of time, this would have been in perfect alignment of the time and season from astrological standpoint, where the stars might have been placed in the exact order needed. The moon, the planets, along with the sun. The rishis, by inviting Agni to the ritual, the offering could simply be by things like ghee or anything that they would present to make the fire burn brighter. And there might have been other elements that we do not know yet. This way of thinking of the rishis by veneration, offering, and meditation works with humans, as the idea that it will work with the elementals god as well is theirs and theirs only. Until this point, the sages are hopeful that the Agni would appear and hold the bargain. We do not know whether Agni would actually show, but as mentioned, the sages are quite confident that he would. Let us continue to the next slok. Agnim purvebhir rishibhir Iriyo nutana niruta Sadevam meha bhachyati. Great sages, old and new, praised Agni. Scholars with the knowledge of Vedas extol Agni. We hope in this ritual, Agni invites many a deity. In this shloka 1.1.2 of Rigveda, it is understood that not only Vaishwamitra is there, but there are other great sages, the old ones and the new ones. Some other sages who contributes to Rigveda are Vaishwamitra, Vasistha, Gritsamada, Varadwaj. It is understood that the hymns of Rigveda were given to the sages by gods in their deepest meditations. This slok asserts that with all the great sages at the time singing Rigveda to the god Agni, they expect Agni not only to come alone but with many other deities. Every sage in the yajna therefore extols Agni in the hopes that he comes with the divine knowledge and wisdom and answers to their requests or prayers. Extolling Agni and hoping their meditation gets answered, the sages acknowledge Agni as an elemental god of fire, and that fire is the source of creation. With this, they hope that Agni brings forth many deities to answer sages' prayers, requests, and provide them with what they are seeking for. Agni naraimastvat poshameva dive dive yashasham viravatmamam. Everybody praises Agni. Agni makes human life successful and able each and every day. It is the same fire god Agni who grants us brave offsprings that earn us riches and reputation. In this shloka 1.1.3 of Rigveda. It is stated that everybody praises and extols Agni, as mentioned in the slokas 1.1.2. It explicitly mentions that Agni makes human life successful and able each and every day. As the sun rises every day, Earth, being a part of the sun, is the mother of human life. Without the presence of sun, which is a body of Agni, human life would not only cease to exist, but would not have existed. The sloka also mentions that Agni grants us offsprings who are brave. This is directly in coordination to the appreciation of their own human offsprings, which can only be in their best health through the light of sun, through cooked food, and even in modern times through electricity. Without fire itself, human offsprings would grow to be meek or not even survive childhood at all. As humans need food, shelter, clothing, etc., which is directly correlated with the uses of fire, this is why great sages praise the fire god Agni, without which human offsprings would not be great. It also mentions that they earn us riches and reputations. This is now bargaining slash oxing part of the sloka, as which the veneration they ask the fire god to grant them the offsprings, which is later achieve greatness through riches and reputation. One can also thus decipher from this sloka that riches and reputation is directly related to human being success. As the great sages desire this of their offsprings, this is still relevant, as riches and reputation certainly cement one's position as being brave and its subsidiary adjectives. Agneyam yagyamodvaram Vishwata paribhurasi Shaiteveshu gachati. O Agni, the sacrificial ritual, invulnerable and protected from all sides, by you, as you encompass it, it indeed goes to the gods. In this slok 1.1.4 of Rigveda, it mentions how the ritualistic fire is made. It mentions that the fire is invulnerable and protected from all sides. This may imply that fire is burnt in a closed environment. Some possibilities could be protected shelter, underground, or in cave where there is no possibility of wind/water, etc., coming in to extinguish the fire. Also, the sages themselves are protecting the fire, which may be one idea of how the yajna is done. It mentions, as you encompass it, meaning as the fire burns, the fire protects itself, of which this invulnerable fire should indeed go directly to gods. One can also decipher that by using predicate logic, this fire of ritual would keep burning until the gods are appeased and they appear in front of the sages. Agni orta kavikritum Satya Shistri Shavastamam Devo Deve Viragamat. O Agni, in this ritual, you are the one who provides the fuel for consumables. You are the initiator for knowledge, action, and power. You are the manifester. You are the truth. Come to this ritual with other gods. In the shloka 1.1.5 of Rigveda, it further mentions the divine grace of fire god Agni. Vaishwamitra states Agni to be the provider of fuel for consumables. This can be thought of in a couple of ways. First, quite literally, that the fire is burning in the ritual can be used as a fuel to cook food items, for consumables for the rishis. But diving a little deeper, we can see that fire is the first and in fact the fuel for any sort of consumable in any sector for human life. Even in modern times, fire is the prime fuel to do almost anything, be it perpetual energy, solar, wind, etc., which is converted to electricity, which is a form of fire, to initiate anything, railroads, stovetops for food, etc., manufacturing of iron, etc. It is ultimately through fire that any consumable is made, not just in the form of food, but materials as well. Any sort of fuel, as we know now, is directly obtained through fire or converted to fire to then use it for human uses. It mentions how Agni is the prime initiator for knowledge, action, and power. Without fire, there would be no light, as there would be no sun, there would be no clothes, or anything we could virtually think of that aligns with our knowledge, such as books, computers, etc. Action means the act of doing. This action is directly coincident to the idea of fire providing us humans with the ability to live, wake up, think, etc., as it is required for all facets of life. And it mentions power. Fire is the ultimate initiator of power, as it is the biggest destructive force for not only mankind, but to anything in comparison to the universe. We can take this logic and thinking about fire being the source of power for nuclear weapons for modern times to supernova explosions in the dense universe. The sloka further extols Agni by asserting that Agni is a manifester and Agni is the truth. The idea of Agni being the truth is simple as fire exists. With all the veneration and mention of the marvel of Agni, the sage in the yajna now invites Agni to bring other gods. Yadam gadasuse tabamagne bhratam karishyasi tabekta satyamangiram. O Agni, you provide wealth, shelter, and prestige to the one who conducts the ritual. You are indeed the one who blesses the animals with prosperity. All the fruits of your work will be provided to you through yajnas, rituals done in the future. In this shloka 1.1.6 of Rigveda, the focus transfers from venerating Agni about his grace to the material and spiritual world, to the veneration which leads to asking of humanoid desires to the sages who performs the yajna. It is mentioned as in 1.1.3, the similar logic determines that wealth, shelter, and prestige are three important things that humans seek in order to have a prosperous life, which is exactly what it mentions by blessing the animals with prosperity. Here, the animals does not only mean human/non-human, but all, as humans stands as the only animals who have learned how to control fire to their will. This is why the idea of Agni providing wealth, shelter, and prestige stands, as other animals who have not learned how to control fire have not been able to understand the concept of such. This is why, evolutionarily, human beings have always been granted with prosperity through Agni. The shloka also mentions the idea of Agni is being appeased through yajna, and as a reward to the unsuspecting work of Agni, the sages shall, in future as well always, will appease Agni through yajnas. This is the sage's way of thanking and giving back to Agni, as it is believed that this is only how Agni can be appeased, by conducting the ritual and providing offering to Agni. Upatagne dive dive doshavastrathirya vayam namo bharanta emashi. O Agni, richly radiant and powerful, we are your true devotees. We are venerating you with the divine wisdom you have given us. We continually sing your praises day and night. O Agni, may we always receive your grace. In this shloka 1.1.7 of Rigveda, Agni is again venerated about its divine grace. It says how radiant and powerful Agni is. This can be seen as fire being the source of light, and it is all-encompassing, mentioning how powerful fire is. It is straightforward to understand how powerful fire is, which is also mentioned in 1.1.5. After the praises the sages establish that they are indeed the true devotees of Agni as they sing their praises day and night. In the cyclic universe, the sages, through this sloka, mention that it is Agni itself who gave them the wisdom to come forth and praise the Agni. Again, using predicate logic, we can understand that without Agni, the sages would not be there to sing Agni's praises, thereby directly meaning that they are existent because of Agni. Following the pattern of veneration and asking of their desires, the sages then mention that they may be the grace of Agni forever. Always here may mean that humans are entirely dependent on Agni, so the continual receiving of Agni's grace may mean that human would prosper always and forever.
रजन्तमध्वराणं गोपामृतस्य दिदीपीं वर्धमानं शिवैतमे.
Bearer of light, protector of this ritual, speaker of truth who advocates right resolution, who grows in the sight of ritual, and the one who gets happy with the ritual, O Agni Dev, we, sages of the ritual, pray to you and venerate you and have come right in front of you. In this shloka 1.1.8 of Rigveda, the sage Vaishwamitra mentions the divinity of Agni by directly saying what Agni does, wants, and love. As Agni, the fire, it is the bearer of light, which is well understood. It is the protector of the ritual, as without Agni itself the ritual would not stand. As without the fire, there would not be offering, there would not be yajna. The yajna is fully dependent on Agni, who grows through the offering presented to it. In front of the fire, sages cannot lie. It is thus the bearer of truth. The Agni preserves the authenticity and sacredness of the ritual by becoming happy with the offerings and the truth, the right resolution which ensues the ritualistic Agni to grow more and more. This happiness, thus, will make Agni burn brighter, offering more light, the fuel as mentioned in 1.1.5. The sages believe that the Agni advocates the truth, as without it Agni would not be appeased and the fire would not burn as such. Thus, the sages pray to Agni and mention that they have come right in front of Agni. This simply implies that the ritualistic fire is there in the presence of the sages, and offering is given by the sages by staying in front of the fire.
Sanam piteva sunuve agne shupayano bhava satchasvanam swaste.
O Lord of the household Agni, just as the son easily meets his father, may we, the performers of the ritual, obtain you without obstacle. For our well-being, stay close to us. In this shloka 1.1.9 of Rigveda, Agni is referred to as the Lord of household. This holds true, as without Agni, a household would not survive, it would perish. The shloka now says that the sages believe that they are like a son to the god of fire Agni, who loves their child. In a household where the father is supposed to love their children, their son, the son meets the father without any obstacle. The sages believe that Agni loves the sages as the fire's god's own children. This is why Agni would appear in front of them, and they would obtain Agni without obstacle, and they pray that Agni would stay close to the sages in the ritual when Agni appears. An interesting facet of this sloka is that the idea of how easily son meets his father. This is not true for every living being or for humans, as there are many examples in the world. So here, one can safely assume that the idea of love and being loved by a father to their son, the meaning would have been completely different if mother was mentioned. But the fact that the father is mentioned, an external feeling such as love has to be introduced. One might also interpret this as a son meeting his father, as the genes genetics of the father is flowing in the son's body. So, provided the son would not actually meet the father in person, since he has the father's genes inside, the son could potentially meet the father through every cell inside his body, similar to the fire being inside a human's body as electrical impulses in neurons, etc. The mention of the relationship of father son also implicitly mentions that Agni is regarded as a father as opposed to being a mother. This distinction might hold interesting in future slokas.
ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्